Minister Kenye convened a press conference today at the State Banquet Hall following a crucial meeting of the Political Affairs Committee. The session marked a significant step in addressing both Naga political issues and concerns related to the Eastern Nagaland People's Organization. The Phek, established in November of last year, has now broadened its scope by including representatives from all political parties in the state with seats in the State Assembly and Parliament. This expansion aims to bring diverse viewpoints into the resolution process. Minister Kenye noted the Phek's progress in engaging with MPs from both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, reflecting a more inclusive approach to resolving political issues. Despite his efforts, he acknowledged that Naga national parties have struggled to unify their positions. Consequently, the Phek intends to engage more directly with people's organizations to facilitate dialogue and address these concerns. Regarding the ENPO, Kenye mentioned that today's discussions were mostly introductory, with an overview of the current status. He expressed hope that the ENPO will collaborate with the state government to advance the dialogue. Addressing the Nltp Nagaland liquor total prohibition issue, Kenye urged calm, stating that reactions have been overly heated. He emphasized that the matter should not be framed as a religious issue, but rather recognized as a global social problem. It's a social menace affecting communities worldwide, not a religious issue, he asserted. The press conference underscored the Phek's commitment to resolving political and organizational issues through broad-based discussions and inclusive engagement with various stakeholders, while also addressing social challenges with a balanced perspective.
Well, okay. Today, the Political Affairs Committee, after its formation in this tenure of our government, was constituted in November last year. And after quite a long time, today we have convened a meeting to take up the issue of the Naga political dialogues and also the ENPO issue in the later half of the day. So, unlike the other years, this time PAC has also roped in all the political parties in the state who have elected representatives in the State Assembly and in the Parliament also. So we have altogether 9 political parties who are in the PDA, in the government, encompassing 60 MLAs of the state, representing 8 political parties and the independent group, which makes us a total of 9 groups. But after the last parliamentary election, the Congress, who elected their representative to the parliament, now has become a part of the PAC as well as the political consultative committee members. So with these representatives from the political parties also, it is being held for the first time because we want a cross-section of views and opinions representing our people in the state. We had a healthy discussion. We were also joined by our 2 honorable MPs from the Rajya Sabha and from the Lok Sabha. And all have made very good inputs on how to go about again, start again, to pick up the trails from where the last PAC had left us in the previous government. So this time around, the members felt that our approach should change a little bit towards trying to resolve our political issue All these years, as you have seen, priority has been given to the negotiating parties, which is the Naga national political groups. And countless times, the State Political Affairs Committee have engaged in the similar dialogues and discussions with almost every group that existed before until now, with this request, appeal, asking them to come together as one single entity while they represent our people in the talks with the government of India. But unfortunately, despite so much appeal from our people, they don't seem to be able to come together and see eye to eye on their differences, and also not able to sink their differences, but continue to maintain separate identities among themselves. And we have also had two major agreements with the government of India, the framework agreement and the agreed position, which we all know of. But there are certain areas of the framework agreement which has not been divulged and has not come into the public domain so far. Whereas the agreed position has been brought to the public domain through the press, all of you, and also by circulation of their documents to the individuals. So, with this parallel stand that they are maintaining, we thought it is detrimental to the peace negotiations they have with the government of India. Maybe this could be the reason for the delay in our talks also. Therefore, the PAC this time, after today's meeting, feels that we should approach the people's organizations which exist, the civil society organizations, and the tribal organizations, the apex Naga bodies, who represent the voice of the people also, and inquire into their stand, their views, their opinions as to how to go about in trying to resolve this elusive issue that has been confronting us for several decades. So the meeting had discussed at length, and we share a common concern and reached a consensus that we should not lose time in trying to reach out to our people, that is the public, the Naga public, and try and seek their views on this matter and as to how to go about. So our Chief Minister had made a very good presentation into the entire history that has transpired from the beginning of the talks till today. And we have taken stock of the major events that has unfolded through these ages. So here we are, after having a very successful, satisfactory discussion. We shall embark on our next move after carefully planning out our roadmap as to how to go about it. We also discussed about the latest status of the discussion that our Enpo is having with the government of India. And you are aware that there has been a change of guard in the office bearers of the Enpo, after which we understand that they have met the government of India once. It is you who have reported in the press that they have met in Guwahati. So the House was enlightened by our Enpo members about the discussion that transpired there. Oh, nothing much different from what has been discussed with the earlier team. It was more or less of an introductory meeting of the new office bearers to the government of India's officials. So we shall see what transpires and how they go about. And we are hopeful that the new team will cooperate with our state government more closely and work more closely with us while trying to resolve this issue. In the first meeting that they have met with our Chief Minister, I think one request that they have put forward to the CM is to expedite the recommendation process as envisaged by both the Government of India and the Enpo. So, as it was stated earlier, the Chief Minister and the state government stand is clear that without first consulting the NLU, the Eastern Nagaland Legislators Union, and seeking their opinion on the proposals put forward by the Government of India, the state on its own is not in a position to make any recommendations. So that is where it is taking a little time, but not willing to bypass the most important section of the people, their own representatives. I don't think the state government will take a unitary decision on this matter. Despite other business of the government, unless it is so necessary, the government will give top priority to this area in trying to reach out to mobilize a meeting with our other CSOs, civil societies, at the earliest.
So does it mean that the PAC will be kind of not indulging directly with the groups that is in talks, but seek the people's mandate here?
See, like I have said in the beginning, that was the trend with all the PSCs earlier. They have engaged, thoroughly engaged over the years. And I think considerable time has been devoted in that area. But the outcome is not satisfactory, by which I mean to say that they are not coming closer, collaborating with each other. Whereas the appeal of the people is a single entity. Seeing their differences, come together, be one group only while representing our people's political issue with GOI. And have only one, with one approach, have only one arrangement so that that will give the government of India also an easier way to take a decision without having multiple demands from our side being placed there. That is what they were actually working for. but it has evoked no response in that area and in that direction. So now it is going to be the other way around. If it is okay by the people, it's fine with us. After all, the main stakeholders and the purpose for all these talks are for the interest of the people. So if the people are not okay, then what do they say? What their suggestions are also. We have to elicit the opinion of the public, the mass. That is where we're trying to make our approach towards this time. The purpose of coming together, cutting across political party colors in the House, the 60 members' intention is to give an impetus and to strengthen the hands of the government of the day, the leadership of the day, so that we'll be able to expediently resolve our differences, whatever is pending in front of us. So the earlier governments had also had opposition, let's go, with all 60 members coming together. But we thought they could not make further headway because of what I just explained, that they are not yielding to our appeal. So if the groups remain rigid like this, then unless we adopt a different approach, we will also meet the same fate, and it will be a waste of time. So we thought maybe then we will seek the opinion of the people first and see how they respond, elicit their opinions on this particular issue and the way forward, the best way forward according to them. That is where we are now. Yeah.
Sir, will the NLA be passing another resolution for
Nltp?
No, regarding the Naga political issue?
Yeah, that was a question which did the round just recently also, preceding our session. But with the best of intentions, the House used to adopt a resolution. But have we not had enough? Do we not have enough of resolutions? Now what we need is action. So we thought it is not too necessary just now to pass a resolution in haste without first seeking the opinion of the people. If we take such a step, decide and pass a resolution on our own, and the people refuse to accept it tomorrow, that would be a serious backlash. That accident we don't want to make. So we're going slow. That's all right. The Enpo is not encroaching upon the talks, the Naga politics talks in any way. It is in a different dimension. And so since they have already initiated these talks with the MHA earlier, side by side, if the talks can arrive at a certain understanding at the same time, we hope, then the accommodations can be there for the aspiration of the ENPO in the new arrangement of the Naga politics talks. We can always fit it. Actually, in a democracy, people elect their leaders by giving them the mandate to speak for them, decide for them, the future of people. So the people place their faith in the hands of the elected representatives. So when the mouthpiece, the democratically elected, mandated representatives are sidelined by a civil society organization, I think we There are a lot of things wrong there in the approach, which should actually be channeled through the elected representatives. I think it is being misdirected. So we don't undermine the importance of the Enpo as an apex body of the people of those regions. But they should work in tandem. There should be perfect understanding and cohesion among them. So what we feel now, after having a look at the proposal by the authorities that day, there could be certain areas where frictions may arise, differences of opinion may erupt between their own people in the eastern region, as per the roles identified there to be played and the responsibilities to be divided from among their own leaders. Certain things may not go down well with the elected representatives. So for fear of any mistake later on, we would like to play it safe. This is not a time-bound issue, so we hope there will be enough deliberations and that they will reach a consensus before anything final is inked. Tomorrow, the list of business is out already. Yeah, we have matter of urgent public importance for another political issue. These talks again, where members are expected to share their minds, speak out their minds. And the other is the repeal of the communitization of power, electricity, as a matter of urgent public importance, this also. So besides other issues, these two will be something to be focused on. Yes, we were told today that there are 26 groups already. 26 groups, yeah. It is continuing to multiply, which is really very unfortunate. But among them, those who are in ceasefire with the government of India are only five groups, I think. I have forgotten the names, but 5 groups. So for us, it is the same, because all of them represent our aspiration. So as long as the people have their support for their movements, then the government has to take cognizance of that. So the state as such, which does not play a role and is not a party to the negotiation, I must admit, is quite at a loss why the government of India is recognizing so many groups repeatedly, which we are not very comfortable. We, in fact, have already mentioned our anguish that this habit of recognizing new groups should stop. They should stop. And that is exactly what the PSC has been trying to tell our national workers, to sink their differences, stop forming new groups, and even among the existing groups, come together, collaborate, and become a single entity. That is our appeal. to our NPGs. So to the government of India, we have made it very clear that it is not going down well with the government and our people. Yeah. The last team, unfortunately, isolated themselves to a great extent and did not come forward for a talk, even with the state government. So the government cannot force any organization to come and meet us or sit across the table and talk with us if they are averse to talks with the government of the Nagaland. So these were some areas which have delayed our talk and our meeting point. And now that the new team, without even being asked to come and meet, on their own have already paid a visit to the state, the head of the state, our chief minister, is, I think, a very good sign. And we hope that the momentum will pick up for a tripartite talk. We cannot expect problems to be solved so quickly, and these are issues which have taken decades altogether. So while trying to resolve it, we should have also exercised the same amount of patience that we have waited for all these years. Like our reactions and attitude towards the process of tackling, resolving our problems. Recently, you have seen how the Nltp Act has kicked up the stove, which was really very unnecessary. I must say, I've been saying at the beginning that there has been overreactions from different sections of our society, which was very unexpected. Our obsession with this word called debt, I think we have to be cautious about this. Newspapers were screaming about the proposition that the government rightly has to make. If a law is not satisfactorily being effected, then it is for the government to reconsider by way of evaluating how effective or how efficient a law is performing. Thus, it has the desired effects that the government has enacted 3.5 decades back. How is it faring now after all these years? If it is not the government's job, then whose job? But when the government tries to take a real look by visiting an old law, which at least 3 of us in this house were present and voting for that particular bill in 1989 on the 26th of November. Our Chief Minister, our Deputy Chief Minister, T.R. Zelang, and myself. We have voted for this Nltp Act. And our commitment to this act, this law, has stood, not wavering in the last 34, 35 years. We understand the values that are attached to this Prohibition Act. It has not changed. Neither the reasons and dynamics surrounding this Nltp Act or our commitment and opinion towards this act have changed. It is not there. But the way it's happening, it is not giving us the desired effect and efficiency to prohibit the sales of liquor in our state. So the government has picked this up and, to elicit the opinion of the public, the general mass, and to start with that, we set the ball rolling for discussion by way of introducing this as a matter of urgent public importance in the Assembly this time. So this is only for discussion and deliberation. But, and we're not going to arrive at a decision or resolution. The rules under which this is being introduced itself speaks volumes. But the government's intentions were misconstrued by the people, and many sections, many quarters have reacted too sharp, which was unbecoming. We look to very respectable institutions for personal guidance also in many points, at many points in our own personal life, when we are at a loss. The government also takes them into confidence for their guide, for their advice, But this time around, I think many have overreacted to this issue. And what we intend to say, making it very simple, putting it in a very plain word, whether regulated will be better, more effective, or leaving it unregulated like this for 34, 35 years serves its purpose. Which one is more efficient? That is what we mean. And not that after 5 years, it has matured, things have changed, so prohibition should be lifted because it is good. That is not our attitude when we are reconsidering this act again. So the discussion has started. We will be discussing further, having a lot of consultations with a cross-section of people, and we hope that we will arrive at a decision which will be in the interest of our people in the long run. So we're not averse to any kind of suggestions from any quarter of the society. That is what we want to tell our people again. To take things easy, not to let tempers fly and react like this in a rash manner. If I remember correctly, I said we might, after taking into the majority views, we might go for a partial lifting. Now, that is in the capacity of a state government. If a government finds that all is not well in that aspect, it is for the government to reconsider that particular issue. And while we consider an issue or reconsiders it, it is only natural and expected of any government to make propositions. So by way of proposition, the government had suggested that we might, I don't think I said we will, after taking in the majority's view. So how do you know the majority's view if you don't bring it to the public domain? And starting with the assembly where all 60 are representatives from every corner of this state. So in that forum, we have introduced it for a healthy debate and a healthy discussion. You're citing Azunenu's statement in the House yesterday about taking U-turns. We have differences in our approach towards any issue. Now, how would you like a government which keeps on avoiding issues, contentious issues that are facing the people, the public, and yet choosing to avoid it, not willing to encounter it, risking controversies, whatever, from the people, but performing their responsibility, their job, and trying to solve it once and for all. Now, if the people wants a government who runs away from their responsibility and always try, to have a peaceful atmosphere so that their tenure will be smooth, that the government will not run into controversies. Or you want to have a proactive government who encounters all these issues confronting the state and the people and trying to bring about a solution. Solution. So that is where we are. We leave it to the people to judge. But I think the government intends to take in the opinion of everybody. And our appeal first is that this should not be taken as a religious issue. It is one of the oldest social, human problems, human habits, I would say. This is a social menace all over the world, leaders, governments, and the churches, religious leaders have been trying to resolve these issues. So I think this is not a religious issue. This is a social issue dealing with human habits only. We will try to tackle these issues jointly, make a collective effort. We will, as I was saying, as early as possible, because this is a pressing need, and we will not like to deliberately keep on pending or delaying this. But the PSC will meet again, take stock of today's meeting, and we will inform at the earliest our next step.